Hello and welcome to Shay Zaza. And today I have a Zaza Zoom with a very, very special friend of mine. So we're going to talk about, I guess what we're talking about is transformation and making a change in life. And the reason that I have her on is because she's done exactly that at a time when maybe most people will think it's probably too late to stop doing stuff like that. So, Friday Kemi,
Yes, my love.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so excited. I've been dying to come on the show. Thank you
And
so
I'm
much.
so thrilled. I'm so thrilled to have you. We're going to have a conversation now about
Sure.
what you've done, which I think is remarkable
Thank
on so
you.
many levels, but it's just
Thank you.
remarkable because I think it's one of the things that a lot of us as women, as we're growing older, and especially when we've been wives, mothers, we kind of almost forget ourselves. We're falling into the roles that we're in, and that's where we stay. Now, what you have done is you have gone from being an educator. Is that the right word
Yes,
what
a,
you
a
were?
lawyer.
From a
first.
sorry, okay, you
Yes.
tell us. From a lawyer
Yes.
to an educator.
Yes.
You did that swap quite early on.
Yes.
Yes.
7 years into my career.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, how many years into your career did you make this new change?
20.
20 years later, she became an
Isn't
actress.
that crazy?
And now you're an actress and you're doing
Yes.
it full time. It's great. I mean, so what I want to ask you is the first question is why? Why after 20 years? I mean,
Right.
you've been doing something for 20 years, which I know you loved.
I absolutely
You loved
and
it
I
so
still
much.
do.
Exactly.
I still
So,
do.
what made you just? I mean, I have a bit of inside knowledge, but let's
Of
not.
course. So
But
I was going to start by saying, I've always loved the performing arts.
Yes.
We've written songs together, sat
We
at
used
the
to,
piano
we used to write
together.
songs together when we
you
were
know.
11. How old were we? Then you're 14. I don't know.
They're about,
Yeah.
school plays, etc. So I've
Yeah.
always had that in
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But sometimes life will take you on a journey. Sometimes you may not have the guts to do what you really want to do. Lots of times you'll ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they will tell you all sorts of fantastical things. But as time goes on, it's what's the wisest thing? What's
So
the
let me
most
ask you this
financially profitable thing? What is the thing my parents
I
want
was
me
just
to
going to say
do?
that law that you did.
Yes.
Was it your thing or was it a parental thing?
It was a combination.
Okay,
I couldn't come up to them and say I want to go into the creative arts. I just didn't have the guts.
Yeah.
It was I come from a very academic family, highly academic. The funny thing is they're also very creative.
Yes,
My parents are
yes.
both, my dad of blessed memory, my mom, both very much into music, performing arts as well. But they always had that professorial side of their lives. And you want so much, especially if you come from a close-knit family, you want your parents to be proud of you.
Yes.
You emulate them. So in emulating them, I decided to study law. They were both professors of medicine. I was not a science student. So the next best thing for me on the other side of the fence was law.
Yeah.
And I was fairly good at it. So I'm not knocking it. And I'm so glad I did it because it comes with its advantages to be a lawyer. But I can't speak for all women. But for me, I think something happened to me in my 40s. I had gone through 40s quite a vast amount of time.
Yeah.
So I had experienced lots of things: motherhood, marriage, starting up a business. I had life experience, but something was still missing. So that little child was still tapping me inside and saying, you haven't, Joe.
Still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yes.
And it's still in you. The talent is still in you. The yearning is still in you. And it began to concern me. When you spend your life very, very, very busy, sometimes you lose track of yourself.
100%.
And I think a lot of times as women, we tend to see ourselves through other people's eyes. I see that a lot. So either I'm somebody's wife or I'm someone's mom or I'm someone's boss. But who are you?
Mhm.
And what do you want out of life? Those questions began to press on me a lot in my 40s and any other time in my life. And as the good Lord would have it, one day I was running a school at the time.
Yeah.
And a creative married couple came to visit me. They wanted to provide the service. Bola and Patrick Edwards, They are producers of a company called Proud African Roots that create African-esque content, very beautiful content. So they wanted to do some work with us at the school. I was very excited. I love performing arts. We started, and then they noticed that this
You
woman,
are more into it
this
than you should
woman,
have been.
so Bola called me and said, Miss Kemi, you seem to have a knack and flair for all this stuff. Why don't you, And I said, I would love to, but I'm in my 40s. It's a bit late, blah, 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 blah. She said, please, just try. Please don't say it's too late. And then she said there's a show going on at Terra Culture
Was that
in a couple
like
of
a
months.
Yeah, I think I saw
it was children's theatre. It was a musical theatre. Go for the audition. So reluctantly, but without a doubt, I knew I was going to go because that child was
You
like,
owed it to yourself.
panting, So I went and I met the president of NANTAP, who's the NANTAP is the Association of Theatre Arts Practitioners in Nigeria. He was the director, which again is not just serendipity, it's just God guiding my steps. So I auditioned for him and he was blown away. He said, you haven't been doing this before? I said, no. He said, welcome. That you have to take this on. I said, do you think it's too late? I don't know why okay, let me not speak for other women. Let me just speak for myself. But as a woman, I find a lot of times we will look for why it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. We will look for the reason, what people will see. We will look for so many things to stop us from doing it. And I was my own enemy in that moment. I was telling him why it couldn't work as a full-time thing. And he argued with me till the end. I said, no. He started giving me examples of people in Hollywood and Nollywood who had started late. And I played lead in that show. It was a theatre musical, and that was how I started. And from there, I started building the confidence to keep going for auditions.
So did you stay? You kept running school, kept your job?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. So
I think now you're
very into. Yes, I am. I haven't left education completely.
Okay.
So I sit on one or two education boards, which keeps me relevant. I still do a bit of training, teacher training. Okay. Because I'm very passionate about education, because of what it means in society. But mostly, I'm in the performing arts, more television now than stage, but still both.
Well, I tell you what I think. I feel like since you did this, since you took this move, I feel like your whole person has changed. You have come alive.
Right.
And it's not to say that you were not alive before, but it's like there's something that has just completely. I think it's almost like you've found yourself again.
Yes.
Your youth has come back. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but it's the difference is clear. Every time I see it, I keep saying, "Oh my God, Kelly, I'm so," because it's just so amazing to watch and to see how. I mean, you've now made a name for yourself. And I told you this after. I didn't tell you who, and I don't know if I will tell you who. But I was having a conversation with a gentleman who said she's by far my favorite actress ever. That she literally. She brings to it, and then he now said to me, I don't know why she didn't do it from the start. To which I said to him, first of all, we have this whole thing of the parenting, etc. Right. But I said also, would she have been this good had she done it at 27? Because now she has the life experience to bring. And he was like, okay. But it was we were having a whole conversation about it. He said by far that in fact she's my favorite actress because she's so. And then we had this whole conversation.
Please tell him thank you.
I would don't worry. I'll tell you who he is. He said he's told you himself before, so you do know him personally. But he was really, going, because I said to him, I'm coming from there. I went to see him. I said, I'm coming to meet you. And he was like, oh my goodness, So we had a conversation about it. But I think it has really brought you alive. And I think, so for me, I think as a woman who is also of, it's like, I feel like there's so much in me that I feel I haven't even touched yet. You know what I mean? I haven't even touched. But it just inspires me every time I see you looking at, like you're just going to the, because anyway, sorry, going on too much. Anyway,
you won't believe, Timke, the number of women who, in fact, it's become a ministry for me from a spiritual level,
Yeah.
because of the sheer number of women who have sent me DMs on Instagram, sent me messages to say, "You don't know what you have done for me. I was working in a bank last year. Now I'm also a fashion designer. Now I'm also this. Now I feel brave enough to try uncountable."
So how old were you when?
And for me, that for me is is it. Is it. If I can in any way be some sort of encouragement to another woman, then
And
God has used me.
Yeah.
You know,
Please, how old were you? I want them to know how old you were when you now decided to go for this.
I was 50.
50.
I was 50.
So at 50, she changed her career completely and went into, and she's on TV. I mean, okay, some of you are not watching from Nigeria, but in Nigeria, she's on TV. She's known.
Right.
She's they're big. They're big. Yeah,
I don't know about big,
but they know you because it's like you're on soap operas, the equivalent of soap operas. So people see you every night.
Yes, I am on major syndicated
exactly.
shows.
There you go.
You
So
know,
that's
and
big.
I've done a couple of movies since the shows that are still in post production coming up on Netflix.
She's big.
So I'm so grateful to God. I lost my train of thought. I think what I wanted to say was,
you were saying as women we're so quick to say we can't do for all these different things.
Yes.
Will it come back?
I hope so.
It's funny because I was talking to Chinwe. We were literally talking about, not this specifically, but we were talking about how as women we don't sell ourselves enough. We're not too scared, but we don't. We were comparing how as men, men will be very quick to say everything they do and can't do, but pretend they can do and have, but don't really have. You know what I mean? They're very quick to be. Whereas we will play down what we have or who we are.
Yes.
Whereas they will build it up.
Yes.
And whether it's actually we were trying to work out whether it's actually, is it a female thing? I don't know why we do that, where we're not so. But I say that
I think society sort of conditions women to feel perhaps a bit less than, to feel okay, let the men go forward and let's stay behind, just to feel like it's okay to be in the background. But the truth of the matter is, much better it is to live, to try and fail, than to live a life of regret later on. Failure doesn't kill you. It's what you do with it that can, destroy you. But if you get to the end of your life and you know that the things that God put in you, the things that He gave you, like that parable of the talents, you buried them. There's nothing more painful than that.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I'm not sure, but I'd like to hear your answer. So, take me for example, a girl who has maybe, I know a lot of my skills and my gifts, but I don't necessarily know all of them.
Okay.
What would you say to someone like me who knows that there's more, but isn't really sure what that more is necessarily? Because you were saying that the little girl inside you always knew that you had that thing. So of course, once it came into your thing, your little girl was panting now. But if so, obviously that's because you had it, you were aware of it. Do you think it's possible that you could not fully be aware of everything that you have? And if so, how can you find it to be it? Does that make sense?
I think it's possible. I feel it's less common though.
Okay.
I feel with the benefit of life experience, people begin to become more aware of what's within them. So I don't feel it's that common for people to not even know what they're capable of or what they're passionate about. But it can happen. And for both scenarios, whether you know or you don't know, for me, the protocol is very similar, and it's about asking. It seems like a simple word, but for me, it has spiritual, mental connotations. So if you don't know what it is, you ask, meaning you investigate. What turns me on? What makes me cry? What hurts me? What makes me giddy with joy? You investigate yourself and you begin to discover the things that really mean something to you, and that's usually a clue a big green flag or white flag that's ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And if you know what it is, then it's also you also need to go through a period of asking, meaning, what do I want to do with it? Self-reflection. What does the ideal way of expressing this look like to me?
Yeah.
And allow yourself, don't hinder your own self. Allow yourself to imagine. If I tell you the things I've imagined,
Tell me what,
you
can you
will
say it on
laugh.
camera?
No.
Anyway, I have some that I've imagined for you too, and I will see them happen. Because,
Amen.
but it's funny you say that, because one of the things I think you know about my Rock Your Own Gorgeous that I talk about, and
Yes.
it's all of that. It's about knowing who you are, asking
Yes.
yourself all these questions
Yes.
so that you
Yes.
can be who you are supposed to
Yes.
be. And I think that too many, I was going to say women, but I think too many people, but in particular women, don't take the time. Maybe because we don't have the time. Let me even give us that. Maybe because we don't have the time.
Sure.
We're too busy being all the roles we are.
Sure.
To actually find out who we are, what we like, what we want, who we would like to be, and then follow it through.
But is that not the most important?
Of course it is.
Of missions.
You see, I wonder if, because I found this out quite early on, but I realized that a lot of women are not getting to know themselves so much later in life. And I was saying to one of these shows that I was talking about, I was saying, how can we help our younger girls to get there quicker than we did? Because it seemed to take us, and I think our parents as well. It's almost later in life, so I don't know how much of it is biological or whatever, or if it's just, I think part of it is also because if you follow the traditional route and you get married, you have children, it's then that you have the time later in life. But I think it's important to know beforehand if you can. And I just think that it's something we need to be doing, actually finding out who we are, because we cannot. Okay, so you need to know who you are. You have to do the inner work. I've told you guys before. But you then.
That's one of the reasons why education is key. Let me just throw that in.
Okay, explain.
So as an educator, your mission is not just to educate intellectually, but holistically. Okay, so you have to infuse that as part of your curriculum, as it were.
So
I think the younger generation have it better in that particular.
I was going to say, do you think that all educators know that? Because I'm not sure that in our time of education that was the case.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean?
Right.
So I 100% agree with you, but I think that if it starts in the school, like, so for example, your mom was the one, I seem to remember, your mom was the one that made you play the piano. Yes. And I say made because I don't think it was something you were fully.
Oh, I loved it.
You loved it eventually. Yes.
But initially it seemed like work.
Do you understand? So I think that sometimes, so you were not lucky, but because she insisted, you had that.
Yes.
So I think that sometimes we don't have somebody that is pushing. Like you say, it should be the educator, it should be the parents, whoever.
Right.
But, and I think maybe you're right that the next generation are okay.
I think so. I think they have it better. I do agree, though, that perhaps not enough teachers are mindful of this.
Yeah.
So if you're going to maybe a top school in Nigeria, top private school, then you might have educators who are thinking along those lines.
Yeah.
When you get more into the public realm, the statistics will change.
Yeah.
And I say this having trained teachers from the private sector, the public or government school sector as well. So I know we have a lot of work to do there.
Okay, but anyway, this whole thing about you have to know yourself so that you can become yourself. So tell me, when you decided to now finally actually go for it, and I know you haven't given up education, but in the formal setting, and actually take on acting as what you're doing.
Yes.
Were you scared?
Terribly.
Why? You're going to do what you love.
Because I was jumping into the unknown. Listen, no. I was leaving a salaried job. I was earning a good salary. I wasn't like wealthy, but I had an okay life. I could take care of myself, take care of the home, contribute to the home, blah, blah, blah. And I was leaving all of that certainty for total uncertainty, purely on faith and what I believe I can do. Come on now.
And do you have any regrets?
Only a robot or an angel
would not be scared. So you did
I was terrified.
But okay, so you were terrified, but you did it.
Yes,
and you did it scared.
That's why I'm so proud of myself now. because I know how scared I was.
Yes, yes.
You know, and did it anyway.
And would you do it again?
Absolutely.
So what do you think you have got? Because I mean, for me, like I said, you have completely changed. You're just so radiant. You're so.
I haven't been happier. Let me put it like that.
You haven't been.
I haven't been happier ever in my life.
Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't it?
But isn't it also sad?
Isn't it?
that it took.
It's
Yeah,
both.
you know what I mean. That it took so long. But I still maintain that I'm not sure. You know, God's timing is always perfect, and I'm not sure that it would have been any better any sooner.
I totally identify or align with the perfect timing of God.
Yeah.
For so many reasons, some of which you've mentioned. The advantage of having life experience, wisdom, etc., is allowing me to strategize and use the opportunities that are coming my way to the best and wisest, in the
And
best
I think that's
way.
what you said to me when I spoke to you. You said you don't know if you would have had the wisdom had you been much younger to handle the situation.
I might have messed up.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's also it's a very unique field. You know, it's not like you went into, you know, it's actually a very unique field.
It's also very competitive.
Very competitive. Yeah, there's so many things, yes, and it's also not usually for older people.
No,
you know what I mean. So
it's a youth-based industry.
So
you know, there's so much importance based on how you look and your youthfulness, and you know your trending. So there's a lot coming against you when you're going into that industry at 50
did you think about that when you went into it, or were you? Did you think about those things?
I thought about it, but then I said to myself, "Oh, gee, hold me." Oh, gee, they're not they buy years for market. They're not they buy this gray hair for market. Don't worry. Yes. We go runner. Yeah. We will know how to do. You know, God's been on our side. And God honors faith like no man's business.
Yeah.
That's what I've discovered in the past 1 year plus that I've been doing this. Yeah. When you take that leap of faith and you know there's literally no safety net,
yes,
He will catch you.
Yeah.
Because He honors faith. Especially faith that you combine with action. You know, not just believing and then you're not doing something about it. So my advice would be take a chance on yourself.
Yeah.
Just take that first step
on yourself. Take a chance on yourself. Because I think we're so keen to take chances on other people.
Exactly.
But not on ourselves. And I always say this, why do I always give other people place that I don't give myself?
Exactly.
You know, so it's almost like, take a chance on yourself. Did your children, your family, how did they respond when you said you were? Did you tell them, or did you just surprise them?
No, I told them. I said, Zuri 24 Media just called me on the phone. This was a year plus ago. They said I should come and audition for something because I had only been doing theatre.
Yeah.
They were like, "Go, Mama, go!" So I went. Came back, no news, and they would come every day. Hey, have they said anything? Have they called? Did you? So it was even looking like it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So it took a whole week later before they called me and said, "We want a new face." Because the day I went for the audition, stars were there.
Wow.
You know, I can't mention names.
So were you intimidated?
No, not by them, but I knew that. Okay, you have competition, girl. So you better bring it.
Yeah.
You know, and I did because what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly.
You've paid your dues. You know, I feel we are at an advantage at this age. I feel there's more confidence.
Yeah.
It's the word confidence. Just more. We've seen it all. We've been there and done that. Waiting they want talk. Waiting you just
that. Yeah.
We've seen it all. So just take a chance on yourself. You know?
I love that. And we're running out of time. Let me look at how much time we have left. We're running out of time. So, okay, before we, just to round up,
right?
What would you, clearly you don't regret it. No. Clearly you think that people should go for it.
Absolutely.
Do you think any age is too late?
Okay, so prior to this, I probably would have said, yes, I do. And then I would have started to find logical, good. You know, I'm an intelligent person, and sometimes our intelligence works against us. So I would have begun to find logical, intelligent reasons why by 60 it's too late. By 62 it's too late. The But you know what? Now, I really don't feel there's any age cap that I would say it's too late. I really don't.
I actually agree with you.
I
think
honestly
that, because
really
when you think
don't.
of some of the people that were really successful, I can't name any of them, so don't ask me. Like I think it was KFC that didn't start
In
till
his
he was
60s.
60 something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I think
Correct.
sometimes you just
Correct.
you just don't know when the timing is, and you need to take a chance on yourself.
Absolutely.
One last word for my people. We're having you back, by the way, just so you know. But one
Okay.
last word. Is there anything you want to say? Talking about transformation, what would you say? Apart from take a chance on yourself, because you said that.
Yes. I'd say you are stronger than you think. That's what I'd say. You are wiser than you are. And I remind you that with God, all things are literally possible. That's what I would say. Those things have proven themselves true in my life, and I'm not anything special. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody else in some other form or same form or other.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. How excited I was. There's never enough time on these shows, but thank you for watching. Do follow us on YouTube. Thank you so much, Fadikemi. You will come back, won't you?
Sure.
Thank you. We'll talk about something else.
Anytime.
See you next time.